evening and thanks for joining us. The province has made its final decision on the Site C dam project and it will be moving ahead.
The Premier was emotional at times, calling it, as you saw, a difficult decision, but ultimately he said cancelling it would cost British Columbians much more in the long run. Ted Chernecki explains what the decision means to BC.
There's no stopping the now $10.7 billion Site C dam near Fort St. John. Today, work continues on a project the NDP says has reached the point of no return. And in saying so, it shows the very location former Premier Christy Clark used to announce Site C in the first place.
Cancelling the project would mean a $4 billion hit, an unavoidable $4 billion hit immediately, either on BC Hydro's books or on the books of the Minister of Finance. The consequences of that would be a 12% rate increase almost immediately.
And you'd get nothing for it. Site C is the most expensive project BC Hydro has ever undertaken. It's already $1.6 billion over budget, and there are no guarantees the final bill won't soar higher. For this reason, environmentalists and some native groups expressed their outrage at the NDP's decision today.
It's such colossal hypocrisy to talk about reconciliation and the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and then in the next breath begin a very lame rationalization.
We're inviting the Premier and key ministers involved in the Site C decision to attend our summit and explain how they reached their decision in the face of all the evidence that cancellation will be better for the climate, jobs, our food security, right relations, and our pocketbooks.
The Premier spoke repeatedly about the difficulty of this decision, the divisiveness at all levels, even on the home front.
Well, my spouse, Ellie, believed that the values lost were greater than the values gained. I explained to her the challenges that I faced. My brother is one as well.
Businesses and trade unions in general applauded today's decision, agreeing there should be no stopping Site C. Ted Chernecki, Global News.
Well, as you just saw, it was a tough decision, one with serious consequences, no matter which way it went. Keith Baldry now with more on the political cost and the fallout we could see in the months ahead.
There's a lot of British Columbians right now who are very upset, as is our caucus, who feel betrayed.
Green Party leader Andrew Weaver is furious that Site C is going ahead, but even so, he won't play his ultimate card, bringing down the NDP government over it.
Does this mean that we're going to topple government? No, I've said that, I've signaled that publicly for quite some time. But does it mean we're going to take a very hard look at the finances come this February? Yes.
And the Premier acknowledged some of his political allies are going to be upset with his government's decision.
I'm fairly confident, although Mr. Weaver and his colleagues disagree with us on this decision, that it won't have an impact on the long-term viability of the government. I'm firmly convinced of that.
Environmental activists have been on-again, off-again allies of the NDP, and they're definitely off today.
I do not accept this affront to human rights. I do not accept this squandering of the birthright of my kids and my grandkids.
But there is another important constituency that likes the decision, the business community.
From a business perspective, this just means we have that guaranteed access to affordable, reliable power that allows our businesses here in BC to compete in international markets.
Meanwhile, the relationship between the Greens and the NDP is now seriously strained, but by no means broken.
We've been criticized for being the green tail wagging the orange dog. Here's an example where the green tail is trying to wag that orange dog and that orange dog isn't listening. So frankly, I think the people of BC are the ones who need to hold them to account for this.